Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Hello everyone, my name is Naledi Mfoloe and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Today we dive deep into the currents of information, from the pulse of politics to the heartbeat of entertainment. We've got it all covered, so please stay tuned for a news experience like no other. Today we delve into recent controversy that has been brewing in South Africa's parliament surrounding the new Deputy Speaker, Dr. Naledi Mfoloe. Now, her actions have actually sparked a widespread debate about the use of Indigenous African languages in the parliamentary setting, notably excluding them in favor of the Afrikaans and English. Strap in, because this is about to be a whirlwind of cultural and political tension. Now, Dr. Naledi Mfoloe from the DA, recently elected as Deputy Speaker, wasted no time setting the stage for what she dubbed as a no-nonsense approach to asserting her authority. Now, imagine this scenario, right? The interpreting services in Parliament collapse, and mid-session, notably, one member begins speaking in Afrikaans, a language that Dr. Mfoloe comfortably understands and permits. When another member rises to speak in Zulu, a language firmly rooted in South Africa's cultural heritage, Dr. Mfoloe objects. Now the results: chaos. Let's have a look.
It is not a point of order.
I have not recognized you.
It's not a point of order.
Then I do not recognize you. It is within the rules that I recognize you or not. I'm not recognizing you now.
You can go as far as you go. 2 points that I want to raise. There are 3 languages that were actually used. It's Afrikaans. There was no interpretation. You never actually intervened on that particular matter. And people who are actually sitting here, it's a violation of the constitution of this country. We are not referring to any rule. I'm referring you to the constitution of this country. That is point number 1. You must acknowledge that English was actually used. The other languages were used. Afrikaans was used. You never actually had a problem with that. Now, when issues are actually tabled in vernacular, which is a constitutional matter, you're actually interfering. That is actually your point of order. And you must actually have respect to our languages. We don't take kind of that. We can't take kind of that. And indeed, we're going to actually take this matter up with your good self, because that actually is segregation to our languages, which are actually enshrined in the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights.
Absolutely. Honourable Member, I could not agree with you more. We have 12 official languages. And you were more than welcome to raise a point of order with the Afrikaans.
We must tell you, we don't take kind of that attitude towards our languages.
Now, the attitude is not my attitude. I have informed you.
It's definitely your attitude. We don't take kind. Our languages cannot continue to be subjugated and to be undermined like you are actually doing. You must respect that house. You must be honorable. And we are actually pointing it now. We are actually pointing it now. It can't go on like this, not anymore with our languages.
Honourable.
Expressing personal opinion on this matter is crucial. And given the delicate tapestry of the language and identity in South Africa, as someone deeply embedded in the rhythm and diversity of our nation's heritage, it is clear that Dr. Mfoloe's approach not only undermines the rich languages diversity of South Africa, but also sends a stark message about which cultures and languages she deems worthy of official recognition. Now, social media went abuzz with one user on X saying, if you ever doubted that the DA would bring back apartheid, just look at the DA deputy speaker in parliament trying to ban African languages while allowing the language of our oppression, Afrikaans. She has no qualms defying our constitution just to further her racism. Now, this incident, my friends, is not merely an administrative hiccup, if we're being honest, or a lapse in procedural judgment. It is a signaling of a deeper, more subtle issue at hand, which is a persistent undervaluation of African languages within spaces of power and influence. South Africa prides itself on its 11 official languages, each intertwined with its history, stories, and identities of its people, and to exclude the language of indigenous African languages like isiZulu in parliamentary discourse is to erase the voices and cultures of millions of South Africans. Now, reflect for a moment on the power dynamics at play, right? Afrikaans and English have long histories of dominance, often enforced through colonial and apartheid-era policies. And despite decades of strides towards equality and cultural recognition, these languages continue to enjoy privileged status. And meanwhile, indigenous languages spoken by the majority struggle for spacing in high stakes and formal settings. This is absolutely upsetting, and Dr. Loret's action, whether intentional or not, actually reinforced these historical imbalances. And we must ask ourselves, right? What kind of a message does this send to our children, to the future generation who should feel proud of their mother tongues? Are we not contradicting our own constitutional values that emphasize linguistic and cultural inclusivity? And when the parliament, right, a symbol of democratic representation, appears selectively exclusive, it casts a shadow on the very principles it's supposed to uphold. And Dr. Loret's stance also raises questions about accessibility, right? And if parliament is microcosm of broader societal dynamics, how does excluding languages like isiZulu impact civic engagement? It tells isiZulu speakers and speakers of other indigenous languages that their voices aren't as important and that their contributions are not as valued, right? And this, in turn, can lead to feelings of alienation and discourage active civic participation, which is the lifeblood of any democracy. I think that another important factor is that we must hold our leaders accountable to a standard that doesn't just tolerate but celebrates that diversity, ensuring that linguistic inclusivity within the walls of parliament must actually extend beyond mere policy and penetrate the very ethos of our legislative processes. Now, with that being said, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts in regards to this story? And while you edit, please give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye for now.